Hi and welcome everybody. My name is Christopher Besselin. I'm the chairman of Fram Skandinavien AB. Today we're going to present the Digital Capital Markets Day for our company. Of course, we're doing this in a time of a lot of uncertainty around Corona and the outbreaks in Europe most recently, but all across the world. I want to start with a few remarks on that point to explain a little bit perhaps on how Sweden and Northern Europe is a little bit different from what we're seeing here in Vietnam. In Vietnam, there was a very swift and decisive reaction to the Corona outbreak. All the way back in January, Vietnam has taken similar actions to what we're seeing now being taken in Europe. Schools were closed, forced quarantines, and a very, very careful measuring of cases and follow-ups to them. So in Vietnam, we have a situation now where we have 39 cases in total, out of which 16 have already recovered. So there's no real clear indication of a larger outbreak in Vietnam as it stands today. Whereas I think we're all familiar with the situation now in Sweden and Northern Europe, where the outbreak is escalating by the day. This doesn't mean that we don't see a lot of uncertainty around global economy and how that might impact us as well here in Vietnam. But on a relative basis, Vietnam feels like a good and relatively robust place in the middle of this outbreak. Further to that, I think it's important to remember that Fram, all the way throughout last year and also now in the beginning of this year, has remained very well capitalized. There is no scenario for us where we will need to raise additional capital in the short term unless we would see some significant M&A opportunity. We think that that's going to be a great opportunity for us to potentially acquire companies at better terms than we could before. Times of uncertainty, but also some opportunities, and we are very happy with where Fram stands today.
A warm welcome to Fram's Virtual Capital Markets Day. It's been a while since we had our previous Capital Markets Day. I remember it was in December 2018. A lot of things have happened since then. Companies have been born, companies have grown, and we made a lot of improvements in the organization. It's been fun. We always say it's never a boring day in Fram, and that's certainly true. But this time, instead of myself and Chris talking about the company, we have actually invited our ventures to give their picture and show a little bit more from their daily lives and the progress and what they've been up to. And so we've listened to shareholders. A lot of curious shareholders want to know what's going on in our company, and it's only that much a quarterly report or an annual report can give. But what we see is that still it doesn't really paint the full picture and give the flavor and the color that we want to do. So this time we have invited the founders to talk about their venture with pictures and numbers and images from their daily lives, from customers to traffics to everything, right? I really hope you enjoyed this video, and we will finish up with a Q&A session with myself and Chris that will take your questions and answer them in the best way.
Hi, I'm Michael Bateman. I'm the Managing Director of Fram Limited. You might have heard of us as the Standing Teams business. I joined Fram at the end of last year, and we run a really interesting journey through the last quarter of last year and into the first quarter of this year. We're really focusing on broadening out the portfolio, making sure that we've got that consultative front end to what we do, but also making sure that we broaden out the development services that we're able to offer. We serve clients in Europe, as you well know, focused on Sweden, Germany, the UK, and the rest of Europe. We also have a small number of clients here in Vietnam. That's where we can deliver some specialist skills direct to those customers and really take advantage of the exploding market here in Vietnam. We've seen continued professionalization of what we do. We've improved our processes. We've made better decisions about the sorts of skills and talent that we've brought into the business. And all of that together has meant that we continually make progress. And I'm really excited about how we can continue to make progress over the rest of this year. And if we think about Fram's customers, the customers that are buying the Standing Team services from us, we've got some really interesting case studies. We've managed to work with some rapidly growing startups in Sweden, really reaching into the modern e-commerce way of delivering to customers. And if we think about some of the sustainability angles, we think about some of the fashion and some of the automotive and some of the fintech examples that we've got, we're working across industries that are really booming in Northern Europe at the moment. If we also think about the clients that we have here in Vietnam, Vietnam is an exploding market. Even in the wake of the virus and some of the challenges that we have now, we're still seeing really strong growth from Vietnamese companies. And as they continue to get online, as they continue to accelerate digital, and they continue to accelerate the way that they're working with customers globally, we're able to be there to support their e-commerce, to support their back-end systems, to support their website, to support their social media. This is all really important and really fast growing for these businesses here. And we're able to bring that professional approach, our industry expertise, and making sure that we can help them grow as fast as we want to grow too. I'm really excited about the growth we have planned here at Fram this year. The core growth, the organic growth, changing our services, developing the proposition, marketing our services and winning new clients, winning new recurring clients, the real core of our business. And I'm also excited about our buy and build strategy. Finding targets, adding them in, making sure that we pick strategically relevant, high quality businesses that we can make sure add to the breadth, add to the depth of our proposition. Combining these two things together is really powerful. It means that we can grow faster. It means that we can take advantage of our core functions. One of the strengths we have here at Fram is our core functions. We have a great culture. We have a great HR and people management team. We have something that's really compelling here in the Vietnamese market. And making sure that as we bring these businesses together, we continue to drive growth. We also really exploit our great core central functions.
Hi, my name's William Cape and I'm one of the co-founders of Camry. Camry is the fastest growing car marketplace in Vietnam. Currently less than 40 in 1,000 people actually own a vehicle in Vietnam, and this is changing rapidly as the Vietnamese economy grows and incomes rise. So we expect new car sales to rise by 23% per year over the next few years, and the used car market should experience even stronger growth. And Camry is perfectly placed to benefit from this trend. We started as a classified business, but we're transitioning into a one-stop shop for all your motoring needs. So Camry now offers car trading, brokerage, auctions, vehicle inspection services, and car financing. We're constantly working to improve the products we have and to expand into new products.
Hello, my name is Ryan Nguyen. I'm MD co-founder of Camry. Here's how our business look in number. We grew our revenue by 5x in 2019. Second, we grew our traffic by 2.5x in 2019 and crossing 1 million unique visitor in February 2020. And third, we established relationship with 1,000 dealers in the market, which solidify our strong position in the industry. Finally, we grew massively our new business line, trading, auction, and media as well. In 2019, we built an amazing team full of energetic, hungry, passionate people. In 2020, they're all ready to take on a new goal, to take Camry to a new success level.
We've already had a great start to 2020 and we're really looking forward to the year ahead, including scaling our new businesses in auctions, trading, brokerage, and financing.
My name is Slavek and I'm a co-founder of Dragonland, company which helps entrepreneurs, SMEs to grow and thrive through better access to finance. We founded Dragonland because we noticed that entrepreneurs globally face the same challenges with getting access to finance. It's complicated. They have problems with finding the right solution, so the solutions are usually expensive. It takes a lot of time. And it ends up that the banking procedures are not reflecting the reality of SMEs because of the checklist-driven assessment.
Hi, I'm Sophie. I'm one of the co-founders of Dragonland. So Dragonland is an online SME lending platform. We aim to help SMEs in Vietnam get fast and easy access to finance so they can grow and thrive. The reason that we started this is because we know how fundamental SMEs are to the Vietnamese economy. They make up 98% of businesses in Vietnam and cover 48% of GDP. Over the past year, established a broker model, basically where we find SMEs that need finance and we match them to the best financer for them. We also support them with their application and ensure that they get the loan fast. We've built a bank partnership base of over 16 banks, and we've processed over 2,000 customers over the past year. We recently supported a flower company called Bateman, who couldn't get finance through banks that they were trying with because they had various problems with their application and they couldn't get through the system. We found them and we supported them to prepare their application and match the correct bank partner for their case. And they now have the finance that they need to purchase more inventory and to grow their business. We've been growing this business over the past year, but we have big plans to significantly expand our product pipeline over the next year. Beyond this, there is huge potential to build on what we have established within Dragonland, using Fram's technology capabilities and also the strong partnership base that we've built up amongst banks to really expand and to serve a larger chunk of the SME market within Vietnam and Southeast Asia.
Vietnam has the lowest employee retention rate of anywhere in Asia. On average, every company every year loses 22.5% of their employees. So far, penetration of software to help companies solve this problem in Vietnam is pretty low. And that's why we created EveHR. So EveHR is a mobile application that helps companies improve employee retention, employee engagement, and helps companies streamline their HR processes. Now, we've modeled EveHR on billion-dollar, highly profitable companies from around the world solving this problem in exactly the same way that we are.
Best success so far, we've secured a partnership with the Fortune 500 multinational insurance company, which employ more than 1,000 employees here in Vietnam. So we've rolled out the platform to help them improve the retention and increase the employee engagement. So two main modules that help them to achieve that is number one, the employee recognition module, where employees can send each other kudos and recognition aligned with the points that they can exchange to rewards. And the second module of flexible benefits, where employees who are using our technology can personalize their employee benefits package.
One of the really exciting things about EveHR is that we are a good fit for almost any company across Vietnam. The country has a formal workforce of 30 million people. It's a huge market size, and that increases by 1 million every single year. Penetration rates across the region, so Singapore, Thailand, all these kind of Southeast Asian countries, are between anywhere from 20% to 40%. In Vietnam, it's still much, much lower than that. So there's a huge amount of potential, right? Our biggest client to date has 1,300 employees, and we have over 10 companies also using the platform right now.
Very essential part to secure partnership with multinational companies was the level of security grade that we had to implement with the platform. So with that and having this large reference client as a starter, it really helped us to engage many more customers especially in insurance, financial services or pharmaceutical industries. To accelerate the growth, currently we have established two large partnerships with the largest international insurance broker in Vietnam and the largest IT company. So with them, we help to add value to their current customers.
Hello, I'm Evie Chang, Managing Director and Co-founder of Levesque. Levesque is a tutoring platform targeting K-12 education, and we differentiate ourselves by providing only top 5% elite tutor from leading university. Companionship education is the core of our business model. Tutoring is just a starting point, from academic to extracurriculum. Let's Lose aim to fulfill all the needs of learning and accompany our clients through K-12 education.
To achieve that, we will broaden the operation sectors from offline tutoring to online teaching, and later on, develop into a full learning platform with both online and offline coverage. To realize this growth plan, Let's Lose is looking for external investment to build up new service solutions, to expand the talent pool and build up our own teaching materials. After 1 year of operations, we have achieved more than 1,000 tutoring hours a month, with 400% year-over-year growth on monthly revenue. We also have 70% of client retention rate with very high customer satisfaction.
Hi, I'm Dragan Bozic, co-founder and managing director of Wowmelo. I drive strategy, product and growth of the company. Wowmelo is a technology financial company that leverages data and analytics in order to automate credit scoring and provide the easiest way to shop online and offline. Our main product works as a digital credit card. It combines the simplicity of a two-click checkout with the availability of instant credit to shop on any partner e-commerce site and get the full flexibility to pay back. We focus primarily in Vietnam, which is a country with nearly 100 million young people and an incredibly booming economy where the vast majority of the middle class is unbanked. Our goal is to enable a faster and easier way to check out and shop online. We allow our customers to receive the items and pay up to 30 days later at no cost or in very flexible monthly installments. In the era of data, we make credit risk assessment based on previous purchase history, repayment history, and other hundreds of data points. This allows us to provide tailor-made products and services to our customers, including more than 50 million unbanked people in Vietnam. Wowmelo Checkout is already available on more than 10 merchants' web stores. Other 10 big names are already in pipeline. 65,000 people opted for our services at the checkout. 3,000 eligible customers are already qualified to use the Wowmelo services. 2,500 subscribers on the platform in the last 3 months. Transactions growth went up to 300% in the last 3 months. Vietnam has a high predicted growth rate for e-commerce, with the sector forecast to increase 19% per year in 2021. Consumers in Vietnam spent roughly $8 billion on online purchases in 2018. Consumer goods generated 38% of the total e-commerce value of the 8 billion. 69% of adults in Vietnam are unbanked. Median age is 30 years old, and only 3% of the population have a credit card.
Hello, I'm Alan, General Manager of Mary Venture. Let me ask you some questions. What is the best times in your life? Maybe you have 1 or 2 ideas come in your mind, right? Okay, let me give you some clue, okay? If I tell you, make a list, think about the budget, find the right place, have a best man, and have a ring. Yes, you get it, we talk about the wedding. The wedding is a very important moment in the life of the couple and in the family. But it also can be a very tough moment. Mary transforms it in a Zen moment. Couple look for a perfect dress, a good photographer, and a perfect moment, perfect venue to organize weddings. This is why Mary exists. Mary already worked with some local customers like P&G and Dojo, the jewelry markets, and also with some international customers like Unilever, Ford, Procter & Gamble. Mary helped brand and company to get the link and touch the specific targets, couples and bride who get married under 12 months. So Mary is the #1 brand wedding in Vietnam, with more than 600,000 unique visitors, with more than 2 million page views every month. We also organize a very big event every year, a wedding fair with more than 10,000 visitors every year. So our ambitions, we want to double the revenue in 2 next years with integrations of new technology. We also open Mary to the foreigner in Vietnam and bring Mary to the world.
Hi, I'm Anton and I'm the Managing Director and Co-Founder at Nordic Coder. IT developers are the fastest growing job group with average pays well above other occupations and endless opportunities in an increasingly digitalized world. Yet a large number of IT jobs remain unfilled despite employers' efforts to recruit more people. This indicates a lack of educational programs that guide future employees through the increasingly complex and evolving landscape of tech stacks and other skills that employers require. At Nordic Coder, we aim to bridge this gap. At its core, Nordic Coder has 3 business units: Development Services, Coding Academy, and Career Advisory, all of which have overlapping areas with each other. We form long-term partnerships with top employers looking for digital talents, where we evaluate their business and HR strategy in order to understand their needs over the next months and years. Together with input from our development services team, we design tailor-made learning courses which teach the skills our strategic partners require. We also offer practical learning experiences and internships in our development services unit, and each student will receive comprehensive career advice to match them with a job at our strategic partners that suits their personality and professional goals. Nordic Coder was founded in July 2018 and opened its first courses in the Coding Academy in November 2018. Since then, we had 1,025 students join Nordic Coder, spread out over a total of 17 courses, offering everything from front-end to back-end tech stacks, and courses in machine learning, data analysis, and product management. The courses are taught by our network of 38 lecturers with professional backgrounds in leading positions in top-tier companies here in Vietnam. The Development Services business unit began operating in July 2019. Since then, we have delivered a total of 8 projects with a total of 6,000 hours of development to clients. Our top projects include a fintech platform aimed at wealth management units in large bank, a live streaming app with celebrity-led quizzes, and a platform for a leading New Zealand immigration agency that is fully government compliant. 2019 was an exciting year for Nordic Coder, with highlights including career days at universities with over 3,000 attendees. And we look forward to continue exploring the countless opportunities on the Vietnamese labor market in 2020.
So now it's time for our Q&A session on this Capital Markets Day. And I really hope you enjoyed watching the ventures present their business and what they've been up to. So we received quite a lot of questions from our shareholders, and we'll now answer them. And the first question is about the coronavirus, and I know we touched upon it a little bit in the beginning on the macro level and what the different countries have been doing to fight it. But if we speak a little bit more specifically on the Fram Group, how do you see this has affected our business?
I think it's natural that the kind of global uncertainty also has some ripple effects into Vietnam and potentially also impacting our businesses. I think we have not seen much impact so far on the businesses, but given the level of uncertainty, and we don't know if this is going to be a prolonged period of outbreak or a relatively shorter period of outbreak, there is uncertainty, and we will see how much the impact is ahead of us. I think specifically we have seen, because of the school closures in Vietnam, there is some impact on the edtech ventures that we have. So they're actually kind of a mix of a positive effect and a negative effect. Some of the offline things we did before, in parallel to the online things, have been affected. People want to do less classes with tutors. On the other hand, there's a natural increase in the shift, or the speed of the shift to online. So actually the online leg of that business is growing faster than it otherwise would. But the overall impact for the group, I think, is too early to tell. So we need to watch and see how long this situation prolongs.
The other question we received is whether we are actively seeking external capital today.
I think there are two levels to that answer in the group. So on a group level, as we were alluding to earlier, we're not seeking any external capital in the near to midterm for Fram. On the subsidiary level, on the venture level, there's a natural evolution where each of these ventures come into a phase where they can attract their first external shareholders and investors. So some of our more mature ventures are now coming into that phase and are starting their first fundraising processes externally. This can be investors here in Vietnam, it can be investors in the broader region and Asia, and it could also be European investors. There's been quite a lot of interest in these processes in the early stages of them, but naturally the uncertainty around the outbreak currently could slow these processes down. But to answer the overall picture, there's no need for additional fundraising for Fram at the moment.
So for the next question. Last year, Henrik Quick left the board, but remained one of the largest shareholders in Fram. Do you see any change there?
I think, as previously communicated, Henrik Quick left the board to focus more of his time on his larger shareholdings. So I think it's quite natural that that's going to be reflected in his shareholding in Fram as well over time. Another question is what the BidBiddy launch plan looks like.
So BidBiddy is being launched this quarter. The implementation and incorporation of it has taken a little bit longer than usual, but it's being launched now. We have founders in place. And I think also that's more of a general point. I think the implementation and the incorporation of this entity has taken a little bit longer time than usual. However, all that money and all the funding is still untouched, so we have all the upside ahead of us.
So one question on the standing team side is, what exciting clients do we have to look forward to this year?
Well, that's a good question. Of course, time will tell, but what we see so far is that we have some new sectors coming in, more B2B distribution, fashion, and also financial services. From a more structural perspective, what we've done also in the beginning of the year together with Michael Bateman is also taking a more holistic view on standing team and really looking into the whole offering, really broadening it. And we also see, it's early stages, but we see pretty good traction with a little bit bigger clients, which has all the obvious upsides, but we also see, of course, there are longer decision times. But we do see this holistic approach to the business has paid off so far.
So how do we work with standing team sales at the moment? That's the next question.
It's a very good question. I think it's a question we've been asking ourselves every day in this business. I think, first of all, there's no secret sauce here. I think it's a range of sources and efforts that generate new clients. It's everything from recommendation, referrals, to incoming leads, through cold outreaches, to attending seminars, etc. So it's sort of it's all the same. It's just that, of course, how do you work with that? Well, you need to increase all of those sources. But we also we experimented with this. What is the optimal way to do this? Should you have a presence in Scandinavia or Northern Europe, or should you do it from here? But I do think running most of the sales efforts from here in Vietnam, in Ho Chi Minh, and then targeting both the region but also Northern Europe has proven to be the most cost-efficient and effective way relative to what you put into it.
Are we still screening the market for potential acquisition targets?
We certainly are. I think this has a lot of similarities with your with the previous question, how we work with sales, because that's really what it is. Outcome comes from activity level, right? And with M&A, it's all about the activity level. You really need to have, once again, multiple sources out and a lot of activity within those sources. I think over the last quarters, the last 2 quarters, we've been in contact with over 150 acquisition targets. So we've really been really active in the M&A strategy. But to finally go ahead with an acquisition, there are so many factors that has to be right. Culturally, the financial composition, and also valuation-wise. But I do think, so if we maintain this kind of intensity levels, and I do think that the market turmoil now will definitely, have some serious negative effects. On the other hand, valuations will come down, cash will be even more important, and I do think that we can see some interesting conversations going forward. But it all comes down to the volume and the level of effort.
Another question on the venture side. So how do we incentivize and drive retention among the managing directors in the ventures?
That's a very interesting question, and it's something we're asking ourselves almost every day. I think the best way to answer it is to, first of all, say that this is a really evolving process. It's something that it's constantly can be improved. I mean, if you ask me 6 months ago or right now or in 6 months, there will be different answers, and we're constantly trying to improve the process. And I think, and if you look at the process, there's a pre-hiring and there's a post-hiring side of it. Pre-hiring, we of course go through, we will receive many CVs, very good CVs, we scan them through, and we schedule interviews, and we have at least 3-4 interviews with the senior management, we have personality tests. So there's already quite a lot pre-funnel, so to speak. Then of course, then once on board, there are of course a variety of tools in the toolbox. You have ESOPs, competitive salary. You have support functions, right? There's a tech environment here, there's a tech ecosystem, there are multiple other ventures that can support. There's myself who can help, there's a finance function and financial governance around it. There's HR, there's admin, we have good contact with lawyers, we have auditors. I mean, we have so many things in place that makes starting a company a little bit easier, and it's still very hard. And I think that maybe comes back to the last point. We should not forget that starting a company from scratch, no matter how much support functions you have, is still going to be one of the hardest things you can do. Now we come to our final question for this Q&A session. It's a two-part question here. Why do we think that the share price has decreased? And why do we think that the market values has lowered than our own estimates?
In principle, we cannot really comment on the share price as such. But in general, if we talk about what we think drives a stock like ours in the stock market, I think definitely you could argue that a stock price could be driven by a more frequent news flow. However, I think you should be aware that a more frequent news flow for a company like ours with 10 ventures plus the standing teams operations require a lot of management bandwidth to produce. So unfortunately, that becomes a trade-off between having the management's attention invested into the operations and building long-term shareholder value, or producing a frequent news flow. So in that trade-off, we always want to prioritize the long-term shareholder value. Then I think if you look back on the history of Fram as a public company and so on, up until 2-3 quarters ago, we were focusing on launching new ventures to fill out the venture portfolio. So there was a natural fulfillment of a news flow to the market. Now the focus has shifted and should also shift towards making sure that these companies grow in a good way and that we build value. So going forward, I think that we will have a portfolio that is very valuable both to our public shareholders, but also to potential external investors that might come in and invest on a subsidiary level or a venture level.